Hello, today for review I've got really great headphones made by Meze Audio, and probably by this big suitcase you already understand that I've got Meze Empyrean. Company Meze is well known on portable audio market. They really succeed in creating affordable models. Their in-ear monitors 11 Neo and 12 Classics became pretty popular, but of course their top-selling model and full-size headphones 99 Classics and 99 Neo became one of the best sellers probably one of the biggest bestsellers in the portable audio history. And then Meze decided to figure out what the best sound they can create, both in full-size and in-ear monitors form factor. Their in-ear monitors Rai Penta started appearing on the market recently, but today I will show and describe the Empyrean. Empyrean was announced somewhere at the beginning of 2018, but they've spent almost a year tuning them and polishing them to perfect state. They visited many exhibitions and people auditioned first versions, and then they've retuned those headphones based on the impressions, trying to achieve the perfection. And now they release them. Price is $3,000, but you know, it's the case when probably headphones worth their price because they are definitely innovative. It's one of the best sounding headphones ever created, and big role in this played actually Renaro Isodynamics, Ukrainian company. I'm really proud of being Ukrainian in this case. So Renaro Isodynamics created a really unusual hybrid array driver. It's the first model you created with this driver, and Meze created headphones using this driver, and I will try to describe and tell about this a bit later, but now let's have a closer look at the headphones themselves. As you can see, they've selected probably the best storage case that can be created. I don't know why other manufacturers didn't use it, but it's just some plastic briefcase, really hard, really good in terms of protecting your headphones, and it's really convenient. Of course, there is also outer transport box made of recycled cardboard, but it's just plain brown cardboard. Nothing fancy, but I can't say how good this box is for everyday carrying, for example, and for storage. You unlock it and you open it. You know, it's not some cheap box, it's really convenient briefcase. So inside you will have small card with serial number and message from Antonio Meze, creator of these headphones and founder of Meze. Stock cable, headphones themselves, and another pair of ear pads. So you will have two different ear pads, leather one and those made of Alcantara. So you will have two different sound options because they sound in a different way, and it's pretty convenient. I wanted to say that probably it would be nice to have additional cable in the accessory set, for example balanced one or 6.3mm, but you can only select only one cable when you order these headphones. But you know, actually another pair of earbuds, I think it's a much better option to have than additional cable. Meze have different cables on their side, really a lot of cables created for this model, so you can definitely get another one with those. In terms of design and in terms of build, in terms of internal structures, those headphones are a result of many experiments and is an outcome of long and hard work. Because, as I've said before, two companies joined their efforts to create the best headphones, not only in terms of sound but also in terms of design. Probably I will start with design. Meze did a lot of experiments to provide the most comfortable experience and best fit. As you can see, headband is made of carbon. It allowed them to save some weight and create pretty lightweight headphones. Of course, 420 grams probably isn't the most lightweight, but thanks to the good design, they really feels lightweight like feather on your head. So carbon part that should add additional reliability, and they've also created unusual headrest. As you can see, it has those wings on the sides to provide better fit on your head, so it just fitting on head better. And they've used really wide headrest made of leather, so it's really reliable and it's really nice in distributing weight. They experimented with different colors and with different materials, but they've ended with metal cups made of aluminium. Let me zoom in a little bit. So I will show you this unique structure of grills. Each grill is milled from aluminium, and it took really long time to create this unusual structure. Actually, as I've read on their site, the structure is also was designed to provide best acoustical experience, so I believe it so. And they changed different color options. I've seen versions with gold grill, with silver grill, and I think this combination of black and what color is it? I don't know, it's some dark bronze color, is the best one. They've made special shape of ear cups and ear pads, so it's ovoid shape that is best corresponding our ears. So it's not rectangular, not oval, but special ovoid shape, or simply said, egg-like. Earbuds are really soft and really comfortable. Thanks to the open back design, you will have zero issues with wearing. Your ears won't be overheated even during long listening sessions. So perfect comfort, perfect fit. Probably people with small heads could have some problems with fitting those, but Meze said that you can actually bend a little bit these supporting wings to get the better fit for small heads. And for my average sized head, they really create perfect experience I really like. Cables are replaceable. Standard micro XLR connectors are used here. Stock cable is normal, not super, but it's normal. Let me see. It connects this way and this way, providing. So it's a bit harder than traditional soft cable, so there is a slight microphonic effect, but it's not really noticeable, so it's pretty usable. Besides that, cable is nice, it's reliable. Here is splitter, and here it goes in this nylon sleeve down to the connector. You know, Meze have a lot of different cable options on their side. I didn't test them, but I probably will order custom cable for them. Probably I will order it from my friends in Era in Ear. I think about something top of the line in terms of cable for them, because they really deserve it. So to summarize everything, it's a great looking model with perfect wearing comfort and with a lot of effort put to create the best user experience. Back in 1980s, Ukrainian city Lviv, really great, beautiful city, was the motherland of all Soviet isodynamic headphones, because there in Nibrea was working Igor Levitsky, who created some really popular models that became huge hits in Soviet Union. And since that, actually those knowledge were carried forward until the company Renaro created those unique isodynamic hybrid array drivers that and they are still manufactured in Lviv. At least the diaphragm. I'm not sure about the whole magnet system, but diaphragms are manufactured in Lviv, and they are unique in modern portable world. Probably I will just now add some pictures during the filming of this video, of editing this video. So what is unique about those drivers? They are using two types of coils on the single diaphragm. Upper side of coil has a switchback pattern, and that pattern is responsible for reproducing bass and mids. And as you probably know, we don't need bass to be positioned exactly to our ear channel. And on the lower part of the diaphragm, they've put a special spiral coil. This coil is capable of reproducing upper mids and treble, and this coil is located precisely against our ear channel, so upper mids and treble go straight to our ear channel, providing the best acoustic experience. So those tiny, I just can express how many tiny details were accounted for creating the sound of those headphones. Also, they used special magnet system, and even ear cups are playing their ear pads, actually playing their role in distributing the magnetic field. So as you can see, there is special grill, waved grill, so this grill is improving magnetic field, making it more even, so to provide the better experience. And here is driver itself, unusual inner grill, and probably partially you can see the pattern of those hybrid drivers. And also it's really convenient, then you can swap ear pods just by pushing them and pulling back, because I like magnetic ear cups holders. It's probably the best thing ever created. So this diaphragm and well thought magnet system and a lot of uniquely created materials allowed to make really unusual sound, and also that allows to create really good headphones in terms of technical specifications: 32 ohms of impedance and 100 decibels of sensitivity. It's really good for high-end model, because you won't need some mega powerful amplifier to drive them properly, but of course they will definitely benefit from some good source. But actually even portable dubs can push them really good. But of course the most important question is, how do they sound? If you've seen measurements made by Head-Fi team of measurements of these headphones, then you probably seen this almost absolutely linear frequency response and low distortion figures. They definitely shine both on measurements and during the practical test. So I can make this part really short and say great, they sound great, they sound balanced, they sound natural, they sound perfectly weighty and engaging and musical and resolving at the same time. But of course such short description won't be satisfying enough, so let's have some dub put on the table. Well, okay, I'm kidding, of course we need some better dub, but actually even with few M6 this headphone sounds nicely. But we will use even as an illustration, we will use something high-end, and it will be, of course, Aston Kern Ultima. By the way, do you think they will upgrade Ultima in Munich, or they won't? But anyway, it's a bit off topic. So you will have basically two sound signatures with these headphones. Of course, difference won't be huge, but it will be pretty noticeable. So with leather earbuds, they sound more linear and natural, and with that suede or Alcantara earbuds, they sound a bit warmer and a bit more musical, let's say it. And actually, it's a matter of taste which signature you prefer. Luckily, this magnetic earpads holding system allows easy swapping, so you can change them in few seconds and enjoy second signature. They of course require some burn-in, but actually not very long. After about 40 hours of burn-in, their sound settled and reached probably highest level. So I already described it, but it's a very balanced model with great resolution, but at the same time not being too clinical and not being too analytical. I probably prefer leather pads more but it depends on the tracks. Like with 80% of tracks I prefer those pads, and with 20% of tracks Alcantara pads does everything better. But so I will probably try to describe both options simultaneously. Let's see how I will succeed with that. So bass is really deep, it goes really deep. Frequency response for these headphones measured from 4 Hz up to 110 kHz. Of course it exceeds human ear limits in both directions, but anyway they go as deep as possible, but of course they don't have any accent on low frequencies. So if you like some additional bass, or if you like some strong, actually not probably strong bass, if you like additional amounts of bass, if you like really hard pushing low frequencies, that's definitely not a model for you. But in this case I don't see any sense in buying high-end headphones at all. Of course, this model is created for those who like to hear bass as it's recorded. If it's some electronic music with deep punchy bass, these headphones will play it. If it's some acoustic bass or some low notes on fortepiano or some organ music, these headphones will play it. So great amount of control, of course, great speed, resolution, texturing, and at the same time it's balanced nicely in terms of weight. So it's like step one side or step another side and you failed, because if you add more weight you will create muddy sound, it will lack some resolution. If you make bass faster than it should be, you will lose weight and it will sound dry and analytical. So these headphones are managed to succeed in balancing everything. If you need a bit more added low frequencies, then that Alcantara pads will give it to you, but I prefer more faster and natural low frequencies. But with Alcantara pads you will have a bit more musical low frequencies with a hint of added additional warmth, with probably a bit more tubey sound. Of course, difference won't be big, but it's still noticeable. So with, for example, some jazz music, I prefer a warmer signature, so I just change the earpads and I get this. For almost all other genres, I use those. And as an example, I will select a bit unusual track. Of course, I need to pause it because they will play loudly. Of course, they are open back, so sound isolation is almost absent. It's not a model to use on the street, on the go, or probably in the office. Maybe if you only if you have your own office, then you can use them. But if you sitting in open space or with some colleagues, they won't love you with these headphones. So as an example here, I will name Caravan Palace, ended with the night, classical, great electro swing with really fun punchy bass line. Of course it's synthesized, but it's really enjoyable and it goes pretty deep, and these headphones really succeed in representing it, while the other parts of melody lying on this foundation, giving you really great sense of engagement. Lows transitioning to perfect mids, resolving natural emotional, of course, if its emotions are present in the recording, and at the same time they are really technical. I will return to this question a bit later when I will give you an example. So really technical with great resolution and with a bit of added weight, so to create the necessary sense of realism, because too monitoring sounding headphones sounds too dry and too nitpicking. So, and they are usually lacking macro contrast in representing things like blows, some explosions, rumbles, and so on. But those are also succeed here, and of course they are good in representing emotions and representing character of instruments and everything like that. They are pretty critical to quality of recordings, but not going deep into nitpicking, so not too analytical, but of course you will need some really good records for them to fit them. And definitely they are good in building imaginary stage, one of the widest, probably the most widest imaginary stage I've experienced, and well, probably also the deepest one, or one of the deepest. They can be, compared with, probably, at least to my ears, they can be compared with expensive electrostatic models in terms of building imaginary stage, in terms of positioning, layering, separation, and other stuff like that. As an example here, I prepared pretty unusual scene. It's apocalyptic live concert and live in Leipzig. It's track named Ludwig Wonderland. It's live record, and it requires great performance from headphones, because it's headphones need to represent the atmosphere of live concert. All this huge, probably it was stadium or some huge concert hall, I'm not sure actually about the details of this concert, but they need to represent all these cellos that they play, and they need to represent the audience and everything. So headphones need to be fast and at the same time emotional, and at the same time building good imaginary stage, and Empyrean tick all those boxes without any problem, absolutely. And of course treble, as I've said many times before in my reviews, treble for me is the number one sign of high-end gear. And when I've seen the frequency response without auditioning them, I've thought that they can sound too peaky, too sharp, and probably too sibilant, because they have a slight accent on the treble in the area from probably 4 kHz to 8, but they really managed to succeed in this area too, and treble here is nicely balanced, because they got well thought peaks and drops, and treble here sounds perfectly realistic, with perfect attacks and decays, with good amount of layering, with everything that I want to hear from good high-end headphones in terms of treble. Treble has really good extension, so almost zero issues here, and of course to enjoy this extension you will need good recordings too. So perfect balance, perfect contrast with low frequencies, and those treble gives you all that overtones, all that airiness, all that nuances that require for for complex instruments and for the intense tunes. As an example, here I will name another track. So it's Hof Ensemble, Quiet Winter Night, one of the best, or maybe simply the best record in terms of recording quality in my collection. I think every single audiophile knows about this group and about this recording. It's Quiet Winter Night. It's just a record, one of the best records in terms of quality. Okay, I already said that, sorry. So it's the first track from the album, and there is a female vocal and few instruments, so it's minimalistic, but it's recorded so great that you can just close your eyes and imagine you hearing all that instruments right in front of you. And Meze Empyrean really will give you this impression. And this track, of course, is really intense in terms of treble, because there are a lot of overtones going high and you will hear them. And with these headphones, you know, I already discovered some nuances of this track. For example, female vocal that is present here. In terms of comparisons, unfortunately I can't do a lot of comparisons because I simply don't have another high-end model that I can compare with. I've got Kennerton Odin, great model, but they're tuned in different way. Odin is more meaty, more weighty, more energetic, more emotional, so it's more colored, and it's actually, I'd say that Odin is headphones for those who like rock music, who like some forwardness, who like some energy, and so on. I've got Audio Zenith PM-X2V2, my favorite model that I really like, but of course Meze overperforms them noticeably in terms of resolution, in terms of micro detalization and other stuff like that, but it's pretty expectable for headphones that cost 2 times more. And I've had for some time Hi-Fi Man HE1000 second version, but you know, Meze just overperforms them too, because they are being as technical as Hi-Fi Man's, but they are more weighty, more emotional, and more natural in this term. And as for source, you know, they definitely can scale with better dubs, with better digital tonal converters, with better amplifiers. You won't need tons of power to drive them properly, but source should be technical, so it should be resolving, it should control everything nicely. It's a matter of taste. Should you prefer some warmer sounding source, or should you prefer something natural? But of course, high-end dubs are great with them, and actually most of all I liked Kane N8 with them. I thought about buying Kane for Empyrean only, but unfortunately I was tight on my budget. So to summarize everything, really great high-end model with reasonable price that will give you, you know, hours and hours of enjoying music, being at the same time engaging and technical, and offering great wearing comfort and being relatively easy to drive. So, you know, Meze ticked all possible boxes for the high-end headphones. Thank you for attention.